Hey, Sienna, today was Kimmy's university graduation ceremony, wasn't it?
Yes, it should be over by now, I think. She mentioned she'd be going out for a karaoke party with her friends to celebrate, so she'll be back late.
I see. You're staying home, right?
Well, for now, yes, I'm at home.
Anyway, I'll be coming home early today. There's something important I need to talk to you about, so make sure you're there.
What is this all about?
I'll explain it in person when I get there. I also have something to give you.
All right, I understand.
Mom, sorry for the late update. The graduation ceremony went smoothly, and I just arrived at a karaoke place with my university friends.
Good job, Kimmy. What time do you think you'll be back?
Let's see. We booked the karaoke for a 2-hour session, but we might extend it, so I'd say it'll definitely be after 9 p.m.
Do you need me to pick you up? Are you sure you know the way back?
No worries. A friend who knows our situation is heading in the same direction, so we decided to share a taxi. As long as I give the driver the address, it'll be fine. Besides, you're busy tonight, aren't you? I can handle myself, so don't worry about me and focus on your stuff.
All right, I got it, thanks.
By the way, how's everything going on your end?
Well, you know, your dad called and said he has something to discuss when he gets back. I mean, I have a good idea of what it's about, but it's just such a hassle.
Oh, yeah, I get that. But hey, maybe it's a good thing. Saves you the trouble in a way, right?
True. I'll try to look at it positively. Anyway, take care on your way home.
Will do.
Sienna? Don't you dare let your anger get the best of you and tear up that document I just gave you.
The divorce papers, you mean? The ones with your name already neatly filled in? So what's the deal? You come home, shove the divorce papers at me, and walk right back out without saying a word. Weren't you going to explain this to me in person?
I decided to convey it through a message instead. Here it is, I'm saying it now.
All right. I got the gist from the divorce papers, but what is it you want to say?
Divorce me, please. Just set me free.
Set you free? What exactly do you mean by that?
Kimmy is graduating from university today, right? And after the ceremony, she's heading straight to the apartment where she'll be living on her own, isn't she?
That's correct. And?
Kimmy becoming an independent adult means that my duties as a parent are complete. Now that she's moving out, there's nothing left for me to do, is there?
Well, I wouldn't say there's nothing left, but I'll agree it marks a major milestone.
Exactly. But when I thought about what comes next, working day in and day out just to support you as you grow older and frankly become an old hag, I couldn't help but feel this overwhelming sense of emptiness about my future.
You do realize you're getting older too, right?
This isn't about me. Look, I'll be blunt. The idea of spending the rest of my life alone with you, just the two of us, makes me feel completely deflated. I've had enough. I want to be free. I want to be released from all these obligations as a parent and a husband. In other words, Kimmy is moving out so you can stop being a mother too. Just disappear from my life already.
Oh, really? Well, whether or not I stop being a mother is my decision to make, not yours.
That's exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about. I'm telling you, I've lost all interest in you. I don't care about an old hag who's completely useless to me.
Oh, I see. This must be about that cute young coworker you mentioned at your job. Well, feel free to get all excited about her, but let me tell you, it's definitely a delusion. You're just making a fool of yourself, and you should consider both her feelings and your age before getting carried away.
I'm not saying I'm planning to do anything with her.
Really?
Just divorce me already and get out.
All right. Honestly, I've been thinking about divorcing you for a long time now because of these exact behaviors of yours.
Wait, what?
Oh, and by the way, the moving company will be here in about 5 minutes.
5 minutes? What do you mean 5 minutes?
Well, while we've been having this little chat, I got a notification from the movers saying they're almost here. It's late, so there's a surcharge for the nighttime service, but they were willing to accommodate my request. I wanted to get this over with as soon as possible, so I scheduled it for tonight.
Wait, what?
Thanks for everything up until now.
Hold on, are you saying you've already packed up and prepared to move out?
Oh, and thanks for the divorce papers, too. You saved me the trouble of having to prepare them myself. I'll drop them off at the city office's night reception desk before the end of the day.
Wait a second!
Oh, one more thing. This is important.
What is it?
This house is set to be demolished.
What? What are you talking about? You didn't even consult me about this? How can the owner decide something like that without my approval?
Excuse me? What are you even saying? The landlord is my brother, remember?
Wait, what?
Do I need to remind you? For the past 20 years, my brother let us rent this place at a ridiculously low rate. It was sitting vacant while his family was overseas for an extended period. He figured it would be better for someone to live in it than let it go to waste.
Oh, right.
Now that my brother's family's wrapping up their time abroad and coming back to the U.S., they've decided to rebuild the house. It's old and in poor condition, so it's time to tear it down. The rental agreement ends at the end of next month.
What the hell?
Anyway, the movers are here now. Bye.
Wait, what's going on? What am I supposed to do now?
Mom, the karaoke competition is over, so I'm about to hop in a taxi and head to my new place.
All right, well, be careful on your way.
By the way, during karaoke, Dad kept calling me over and over. The number of missed calls was insane.
You didn't pick up?
I was too busy singing to even notice. Oh, and he sent a text message at the end. He was like, "Your mom left. She's going to divorce me. Help me."
Oh my. The nerve of him, especially after handing me the divorce papers himself. Unbelievable.
Anyway, I did leave him on red and didn't reply.
Good call. Oh, just so you know, the divorce papers have already been submitted to the night reception desk at City Hall.
Got it.
All right, I'm going to start unpacking the basics.
You've already finished moving all your stuff?
Yes, I tried to minimize my belongings, and since it's only a 20-minute drive from the old house, it didn't take long.
Gotcha. Well, I'll see you later then.
All right, be safe.
Hey, Sienna, why haven't you come over yet?
Oh, it's been 2 months. What do you want?
I gave you my new address, didn't I?
Oh, that. You mean the random address you sent me about a month ago? Honestly, I wasn't sure what you were trying to achieve with that. So what exactly was the point?
Why haven't you come to do the housework?
Excuse me? Housework? Who's doing whose housework here?
Who else? You're supposed to do my housework, of course. Housework is a woman's job. My mom's in a nursing home, so there's no one else but you to handle it.
Are you even listening to yourself right now?
Unbelievable. You really don't get it, do you? We were married for 23 years. Even though I had to constantly criticize you for your incompetence, you still managed somehow. And now, just because we're divorced, you've suddenly forgotten everything? I'll retrain you if I have to. Starting tomorrow, I expect you here every day.
Wow. Are you feeling okay, like mentally?
What?
Asking your ex-wife, an entirely unrelated person now, to come do housework for your home? Do you hear how ridiculous that sounds?
What are you talking about?
And retrain me? Oh, that's one of the most disrespectful things I've ever heard. Let me remind you, when we were married, despite us both working full-time jobs, you dumped all the housework and childcare on me while you sat back and criticized everything I did. You were the textbook definition of all talk, no action. And you think you were in any position to critique me?
Who are you calling useless? I told you before, housework is a woman's job.
Well, even if that's your twisted belief, you don't go asking a stranger to do your housework, do you?
But you're not a stranger. You were my wife.
Was your wife, past tense. Now I'm your ex-wife, which makes me just another person in the world. If a stranger is going to do housework for you, it's usually because they're a professional housekeeper or part of a cleaning service. That's literally their job. And let me make this crystal clear, I am neither your housekeeper nor your servant. I have no obligation or intention to do anything for you.
Fine. If that's the way it's gonna be, I'll just ask Kimmy instead. As her father, I'll tell her it's part of her training to be a proper wife someday. She'll jump at the opportunity, thinking it's a good life lesson.
Yeah, good luck with that. I wouldn't get my hopes up if I were you.
Kimmy, I have a favor to ask.
No.
Ah! Wait, hold on. I haven't even finished saying anything yet.
I'm guessing it's something like, as my daughter, you should come over and help me with housework, right? But that's impossible.
Why is that?
Well, since Mom isn't here anymore, the only person who can do the housework is me, your daughter. But it's your responsibility. Why don't you just take care of it yourself?
No, housework is a woman's job. It's simple, really.
Wait, what? What do you mean by that? Are you really saying that housework is only for women?
Listen, one day you'll get married, and when you do, you don't want your husband to think you can't even handle basic housework, right? That's why you need to learn it now. It's your responsibility, and you should take it seriously.
I already know how to do it just fine. You don't have to tell me what to do.
Oh, really? If that's the case, then starting tomorrow, I expect you to come over and handle the housework. That shouldn't be a problem, right?
I'm saying no. Do you even remember that I'm an adult now and have my own life to take care of?
It's not that big of a deal. You could just swing by after work, do a bit of cleaning, prepare a meal for me. The apartment I'm living in now is just one bedroom and the dining room and kitchen, so it's smaller and easier to clean. Plus, cooking for just me won't take that long, and it's not nearly as difficult as when we lived in a big house before.
If you think it's so easy, then why don't you do it yourself?
Well, that's because I don't have time for it. And besides, it's not as easy as you think.
And yet you think I should just drop everything and help you? It's physically impossible.
Physically impossible? What do you mean by that?
The thing is, the company's new employee training is almost over, and I've been assigned to a branch office in a completely different region. So I'm going to be moving far away soon.
Wait, didn't you just start living alone in that apartment near your work?
That was only temporary. The company provided it for me as an accommodation during my training period, but now that my placement's been finalized, I'll be moving to a different city.
So, you're moving even farther away now?
Yes, that's right. And just so you know, I'm bringing Mom with me too.
What? Why are you taking Mom with you?
Well, Mom's job is working as a handmade artist, which means she can work from home. And since she's single now, she doesn't have to worry about finding a place to live, so it's easy for her to move. Plus, she doesn't mind at all.
I don't get it. Why does she have to go with you?
The main reason is that I don't want to be bothered by Dad asking me to get remarried or pressuring me to take care of him. It's easier to just take Mom along with me. That way I won't have to deal with any of his nonsense.
Wait a minute. No, that's not what I was saying.
Oh, so I'm right, huh?
No, that's not what I meant.
Anyway, we've made up our minds. We're not going to take care of you anymore. We've had enough of you, especially since you don't even appreciate the value of having someone to help with the housework. Neither Mom nor I will lift a finger for you anymore.
Kimmy, but at least could you please help me out and clean up my place a bit? I don't even know how to take out the trash, and the place is such a mess that you can't even see the floor anymore.
Maybe you should just drown in your own pigsty forever. Goodbye.
It seems that my ex-husband's deeply ingrained belief that housework is a woman's job hasn't changed at all, even after our divorce. From what I've heard from a colleague of my ex-husband, someone I personally know well, it seems he's become quite unbearable. Apparently he's developed an odor that's hard to ignore. Whether it's because he hasn't been doing his laundry or if it's just his natural body odor due to aging, the result is the same. When you get too close to him, the stench is overwhelming. He apparently smells terrible, and it's gotten so bad that even his coworkers have started to notice. But that's not even the worst of it. It seems that he approached a young and beautiful female employee at his office with an inappropriate proposal. He tried to get her to become his housekeeper, thinking that she would take on the household responsibilities he was too lazy to manage. He persistently tried to pursue her, and this situation escalated into a huge issue at the company. The story that was shared with me went something like this. When his supervisor addressed the issue, my ex-husband's response was to blame his inability to keep his house in order on the fact that there was no one to do the laundry and no one to take out the trash. His supervisor, a man himself, was apparently taken aback by my ex-husband's comments. He looked at him with a stunned expression and said, "Why don't you do it yourself?" This reaction seemed to leave my ex-husband dumbfounded. He couldn't comprehend why anyone would think he was capable of doing these things himself. But the truth is, he never had to do them while we were married because he always expected me to take care of everything. As the situation at his job continued to unravel, it became apparent that my ex-husband's inability to adapt and learn how to take care of himself was becoming a serious problem, both at work and in his personal life. He had a long history of neglecting his responsibilities, and now this same neglect was affecting his professional reputation. His behavior, combined with a series of repeated mistakes, led to him being demoted and having his salary reduced. Word has started to spread that my ex-husband is now facing a recommendation for retirement, or, at the very least, a forced resignation. I have no idea how true those rumors are, but if they are, I can't say I'm too surprised. This is a man who has never truly grown up or taken responsibility for his actions. Instead of taking the initiative to learn new skills or adapt to his circumstances, he's always preferred to live in a fantasy where women, like myself, would just take care of everything for him. His inability to change or even to acknowledge that he has to take responsibility for his own life has led him to this point. I can't help but think that this is the outcome he deserves, though part of me is also slightly amused by how he's handling it. He seems so completely unaware of the reality of his situation. For someone who always wanted to appear as if he had everything under control, it's rather amusing to see him fail in such spectacular fashion. The man who used to criticize me for not doing enough in our marriage is now being confronted with the consequences of his actions, and it's clear he has no idea how to fix it. The whole situation has caused me to reflect on just how much he took me, and others, for granted during our marriage. His sense of entitlement, particularly towards household chores, was beyond belief. It wasn't just about laundry or cooking, it was about his expectation that I should shoulder all of the responsibilities that came with managing our home, without any real recognition of the hard work that went into it. He would always say that housework was a woman's job, as though that somehow justified his complete refusal to lift a finger. And even after everything that happened between us, he still seems to think this attitude is acceptable. But now, in his new predicament, he has no choice but to face the consequences of his outdated thinking. He's made mistakes at work, alienated people around him, and lost the respect of his peers, all because of his refusal to change. The reality he's been living in has finally caught up to him, and he's unable to adapt. He's so entrenched in his way of thinking that he doesn't even realize how ridiculous he looks to others. For someone who used to insist that he was right about everything, this is a significant blow to his ego. In some ways, it almost feels like poetic justice. He's always viewed himself as superior to those around him, especially me, simply because of his gender. Yet now he's the one facing ridicule and personal failure, while I'm moving on with my life. It's strange, though, because even though I've been through a lot because of him, I don't feel any sympathy for him now. If anything, I find myself feeling a sense of relief that I'm no longer involved in his mess. But what really gets to me is the fact that he still hasn't learned anything. His entire world seems to revolve around his own comfort, and he expects others to do the work for him. He never realized that in order to function in the world, you have to be self-sufficient. He's always depended on others to take care of him, whether it was his mother, his wife, or now some unsuspecting woman at his office. And when that support is pulled away, he has no idea how to cope. What's even more shocking is that even after all of this, he still can't understand why people are upset with him. His sense of entitlement has not waned. He hasn't stopped thinking that it's someone else's job to clean up his mess. This is the same man who for years would criticize me for the smallest things while never once lifting a finger to help. Now that he's on his own, he's unable to take care of the most basic tasks, and that's what led to the collapse of his career. As for me, I've moved on from all of this. I have no intention of helping him, nor do I feel any need to. I've been through enough, and he has made it clear that he is incapable of change. He's going to have to deal with the fallout on his own, and I won't be there to pick up the pieces. In the end, it's hard to feel sorry for someone who never took responsibility for their own actions. He had a chance to make things right, but he chose not to, and now he faces the consequences. I can only watch from the sidelines. It's his problem now, not mine, and I plan to keep it that way.
Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
I just got to my parents' house. I think you should be able to make it to the funeral on time. So just don't wonder about what I'm doing and make sure to be with the rest of the family there. I made sure to bring along your funeral clothing as well.
Thank you, Cameron. Once I've made sure to finish telling everyone in the office, I'll be on my way there. Had my business trip been a lot closer to you guys, I could be there in an instant, but this time...
You had to go somewhere completely different this time, which is pretty unlucky. And to think that my little brother would get into a wreck.
Is Elsie going to be all right? She still has that very young child to deal with, but now she's going to have to take care of them all on her own. I'm sure she's a wreck herself right now, right?
And about that, I feel really bad about her having to be all by herself.
Of course, because she was just made a single mother in an instant. So she's even worse off than just being a poor thing right now. Honestly, she's in the worst place imaginable for someone in her shoes at that age. I think we need to make sure that we're there for her to support her and her kid.
Thank goodness you're thinking the same thing as me then.
Well, of course that's what I'd be thinking. She may be my brother-in-law's wife, but she also happens to be like a sister to me and one that I love very much.
Due to the situation that we're all in now, I want to do everything I can to support her like her husband would have.
Hold on a second, are you thinking of really taking his place by earning money for them now as well and such?
Since he's no longer there for them, I need to be the one to take his place, right?
I'm sorry, but you mean that you'll just be helping out from our house, right?
Unlike you and I, Holly has 2 kids that she's having to take care of now. They're gonna need a papa, right?
Well, the both of them are still pretty young.
For only Elsie to be the one at home with them all the time, taking care of them, that would be like hell, right?
I'm aware of that.
So I was thinking that in place of my brother, I'd step in to take care of those 3 like he would.
And when you say that, you mean just as a supportive brother-in-law, right?
That's right. I have to be there to support them financially.
Ah, that makes more sense. Your brother was living with your parents along with his family before he passed and was the one paying all the bills, right? Now that he's gone, it's kind of left your mom without anyone as well now.
And, well, after having just passed away in that accident, there's going to be things like the cost of the wreck, the car insurance costs, his health insurance costs, the cost of the funeral, and so much more, right?
That's true.
I just heard that his wife will be getting $150,000 from his life insurance. And as for that other driver, a lawyer will be with her to help her out a bit. But considering that he was 100% at fault for that wreck, there's gonna be a ton of money coming from him very soon.
Did Elsie tell you all about that?
No, this is what I heard from my mom.
So she hasn't talked with you at all about all of those things yet, right?
No, she has not.
Okay. Elsie, I'm sorry for leaving so early, but if there's anything else you need from me, please let me know. If there's anything I can do for you, I'd love to do it. I'm sure that things will only get more stressful for you. And with you having the kids around still, I want to make sure that you don't overwork yourself.
Oakley, thank you so much for saying that. I've really been freaking out about how I'm going to handle everything on my own now, and it's been a really rough week so far. Having you there at the funeral really made me feel a little bit of hope.
And as for my husband, who went out there saying he would be helping you out, didn't do a damn thing. So I'm really sorry about that. Also him saying he wouldn't come home with me and would be staying there with you all.
Cameron seems to be very worried about myself and the kids, and that's why he's wanting to stick around.
Well, if he ever starts to become a problem for you, let me know and I'll come get him. I want you to complain about anything he does that pisses you off, all right?
I'm not really sure if I should be saying something like this to you of all people right now.
What happened? If you're really worried about something, please tell me. Because of my work, he and I were never able to go back there to live really close to you all, and that left just you and your husband having to take care of their parents in the house. So if there's anything you need my help with, please let me know right away.
No, wait. You've always taken such great care of us, even if you can't always be here at the family house. Things like making those meals and everything for us to warm up and eat. And in the past, you've let us borrow plenty of money from you. And when it comes to my kids' presents, you've really gone all out.
But that's all I could manage in the past. So is there something you need from me right now?
Actually, I'm being talked to about getting remarried already.
Getting remarried already? Is it our mother-in-law talking to you about that?
Both Cameron and her are, actually.
Huh? Cameron, too?
They told me that I have 2 kids to take care of now and that we need a husband and a father. And, well, they followed that up by saying having some random man become a part of the family wouldn't be good for the kids. So they both told me that Cameron should become my new husband.
What? Not about how my husband should be supporting you guys in his brother's place?
How can I say this? From the way things sounded, they want me to marry Cameron now.
Huh? What the hell?
So you've known about none of this then, right?
No frickin' way! They're both going to talk with you about something like that when your husband only just passed away? I am so sorry. Wait. Are they going to talk with me about this next once I get home?
Just a second ago, they came back here with marriage paperwork.
No frickin' way.
I had no idea what to do when they did, and since my husband's gone now, if I weren't to marry someone like your husband, they would kick the kids and I out of this house, right? But they happen to be my late husband's kids as well, so they would take them and kick me out of the house, right?
Knowing that woman, I'm sure she'd be saying scary things like that. Just for my own sake, I want to confirm this with you. How are you feeling about all of this?
I am so very sorry, but I really can't be asked to be around your husband right now. I've always really hated him, and now...
I feel you. And now I have a better idea of the situation at hand.
The reason I'd always been asking you to come here and help me, and never your husband, was because of how much I really dislike him. But I was never sure you picked up on how I felt about him. However, it seems you really do understand what I mean by not liking him.
So this means you don't want to get remarried to my husband at all then, right?
You are still his wife, for crying out loud, so the fact that they were talking about that with me...
I really wonder what's gotten into those people that they want you to do something like that.
Cameron handed me the marriage papers even though you guys aren't even divorced yet, and told me to start filling my parts out. He told me he'd be divorcing you really soon though, so it was okay for me to do.
So he really does plan to leave me. I want to ask you something else now. What would you like to do next?
I don't think I can live here with our mother-in-law anymore. Now that my husband is gone, I was thinking about leaving this house with my babies and living somewhere, just the 3 of us in peace.
Understood. Allow me to take some of this into my own hands.
Thank you so very much, Raina.
I'm almost home now, so I'll talk with you again once I'm settled down. I have something to ask you about, Cameron.
What's that?
I heard that you were talking with Elsie about getting remarried. What are you planning on doing?
You've already heard about all of that? You already know what I'm planning to do since I've told you about that before, right? I'm gonna be taking my brother's place.
So that's really what you were talking about then? All right. Although I'm not going to say that I agree with what you're doing. You're literally causing issues for a woman struggling with the loss of her husband right now.
Causing issues? I told her that I want this marriage for her sake, and she happens to be in love with me. So being able to remarry a man like me must make her very happy.
You think that Elsie is in love with you right now? Are you drunk?
You really are such a dull idiot, aren't you? Have you not been able to tell what's been going on based off the way she reacts to me? When I was back at my parents' house again with her, she would always look over at me. And she'd leave distance between us on purpose because she was embarrassed by seeing me again. It feels like she's gone back in time and is having her first crush on me like a kid.
I want to congratulate you for taking things so far off the rails like that. But the real reason why she made so much distance between you and her is because she doesn't like you.
I just told you you're being really obtuse about all this right now.
I'm telling you that she doesn't want you around and that you forcing her to talk about marrying you is really troubling her.
Those kids are gonna need a father, and she's gonna need a reason to still be allowed to live in my parents' house. She's also gonna need someone to take care of the money for her. Look at that, I'm needed by her, right?
What are you going on about right now?
I think she'd be better off having someone like me as her husband than someone she barely even knows. I happen to be her late husband's younger brother, so we share the same blood and everything. And considering I'm the older brother in this family, if she gets married to me, she'll be allowed to continue living in this house. And if all of that wasn't enough to seal the deal, she's gonna need someone who can take care of all that money she'll be getting from things like the life insurance and from that man that killed my brother.
I don't want to even think about this being the case, but are you only wanting to get married to her for the money that your brother is leaving behind?
Let me just say, this is something that my mom is also wanting me to do.
You didn't answer my question.
She's always been upset about the fact that her older son hasn't had any kids yet, and that's left her worried about us as a married couple.
Answer what I asked. And if you've been wanting to have kids like your mother's been wanting, then why did you never ask about it?
Well, Elsie already happens to have 2 kids now. And since you aren't even pregnant yet, she's the obvious choice, right? My mom is also happy about having her older son back home. And I'm happy about having some more money at my disposal. So you and I are getting divorced, and I'm getting married to Elsie next. And then after that, I can have even more kids with her with all the money we'll be getting.
So that really was your reason for wanting to marry her. You're just in it for the money she'll be getting, and not for what you were telling me before. The role of supporting and caring for her? So then that means this divorce paperwork that's been left on the table for me, all filled out, is the real deal?
I've already signed my parts and everything, right? Once you've divorced me and set me free, I'll be able to get myself a lot of money. I need to marry my brother's wife now, so divorce me, please. I don't need you in my life anymore.
I'm taking it to the courthouse right now.
Yeah, see ya, you old bitch. Although I think you being thrown out at your age means there's no hope for you anymore. And by the way, that house is no longer ours. So get all your things together and get out of there by the end of the month. I'm moving back into my parents' house now, so you can go ahead and have all the savings we had together, because I'll be getting close to 20 times that amount after marrying Holly. I'm gonna be getting some really big money.
Are you sure?
But don't expect anything else out of me. At your age, you'd better appreciate that as my farewell gift to you, okay?
Don't worry, allow me to take all that money and get out of your sight for good, okay? I can put it all to good use for something like a honeymoon trip, you know? Like how a wedding is celebrated with the honeymoon after, I'll celebrate this divorce with the same kind of thing, overseas even. I'm not going to have a massive event or anything for it, but I will at least celebrate it like the kind of happy occasion that it is.
Celebrate the divorce?
Due to the fact that I'll finally be able to cut ties to both you and your mother, who has relied on me so much, I'd like to use some of the money to take myself on a trip overseas or something close to that to celebrate.
Well, you seem to be more happy about this than I am.
I promise to get all these papers in today, and I'll be out of this house in no time. Considering we just had to go through a death in the family and that funeral, it may take me a bit of time, so please give me the month like you said. And before I'm gone, I'd like to take this trip. How about a 3-day trip to California so we can enjoy the beach?
Understood. I'll go tell my mom about this.
When I've found what resort we can all celebrate at, I'll give you another text. Thanks for everything, and goodbye forever.
Do you have any idea where Elsie and the kids went? My mom and I just got home from the trip and we can't seem to find them or their things anywhere.
Elsie and her kids went back to her parents' house.
What? They went back to her parents' place?
While you guys stayed in California for far longer than the rest of us, we came back here and I started to help them move out of your parents' home.
Hold on a second. Why would you do something like that? What about the marriage papers? What about her and I getting married?
That was never happening to begin with, you butthead. All of that was just inside your mom's and your head the whole time.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me that the trip you planned for all of us to go on to celebrate this divorce was all meant to get us out of the house so that they could leave?
Thank God you guys chose to stay that long. I was wondering about you wanting to either come home with us or not go on the trip at all. But instead, you all stayed longer while the four of us were able to get back here and grab all of Elsie's things. Now I can finally forget about you. Like, seriously, your brother just passed away and you're already going on about marrying his wife and taking all their money? As well as divorcing me and kicking me out of the house?
But you said that the trip was to celebrate the divorce and everything, hence why we all went with you.
If you really cared about taking care of Elsie and her kids after getting married, you would have been focusing on that instead of coming to me to celebrate, right? But you really are only focused on the money, so you'd never think about the family of a recently deceased father and husband, right?
Are you kidding me?
Do you even know where her kids are going for preschool right now? Do you even know about their everyday routine and such? About what they both like and what they both dislike? Do you know any of those things? If you really wanted to marry her and take care of those three, then you would have been asking about all of those things from day one. Especially as a man who has never taken care of kids before yet.
I planned on learning all those things later on.
You really think you can be acting so laid back right now when Elsie and her kids need the support right now?
It's the wife's job to take care of the kids in the first place, right?
God damn, thank God I never had any kids with you then. I don't want to have a family with such a careless man as you.
What the hell do you think you're doing? Letting Elsie and her kids go back to her parents' house like that? We haven't even gone and handed in our marriage papers yet. And right now she's ignoring all my texts and calls.
I told her to block you.
You told her to block me?
She never had any plans of getting married to a monster like you, Cameron. And she's working on cutting ties to all of your family right now as her husband is no longer around. That means that you and all of your family are strangers to her now.
What are you talking about?
She is working on ending all ties to you guys now that her husband has passed away.
She's really going to leave us like that? Hey, what about that money? What about the money that she'll be getting from my brother?
Elsie and both of her kids will be receiving that money.
Hold on a sec. That's not good for me, though. I've already planned out trips to Hawaii to stay at 5-star resorts while flying first class and pre-ordered 2 new supercars, thinking that I'd be getting all of that money.
Jesus Christ. So you were going to take a grieving woman and her kids to Hawaii with you after all that's happened to her?
Not at all. I planned on bringing my girlfriend. Her and I have been planning this trip to Hawaii for half a year now. I was expecting this money to come to me eventually, and that's why we planned a really expensive trip out there, as well as buying all kinds of really expensive things with our credit cards. I've already promised her that all of this is gonna happen, so there's no going back now. I've been going out to see her for 2 years now, and 6 months ago I was finally able to land her with the promise of all these things.
Your girlfriend? Who you've been seeing for 2 years now?
Hold on a second. Forget all of that.
So you've been cheating on me.
What are you talking about?
You were talking about how you planned on marrying your dead brother's wife so you could get all that money. But your real reasoning behind all of this was because you have another woman you've been cheating on me with and you need to buy her love. So this has all been for your girlfriend. Alrighty then. I'm finally starting to understand it all now. You told me for so long that we never had enough money to ever have kids or anything, and that you didn't want any. Which is strange because I had been working a ton and had so much money saved up for us. But I get it now.
No, wait, you're wrong about that.
Since I fixed the problem Elsie was having with you, it's now my turn to fix this mess. Now that you've confessed to cheating on me, I am going to do everything I can to squeeze every last penny out of you.
Hold on, Oakley. I thought that I'd be getting more money. I've already used up what money I had. Also, you and I are divorced already, so how will you be able to get that settlement from me?
Just because we're divorced now doesn't mean that I can't still get a settlement for the damages you caused.
Okay, I get it. I have an idea for how to fix all our problems here. All we have to do is get back together.
Are you that screwed in the head or something? Because what you just said makes no sense at all.
I only left you thinking that I'd be getting married to Elsie, but since that's not happening now, I'll get back together with you. So let's get married again. And you'll be able to live with me at my family's house. I'll be able to get my mom to do all of the chores and cooking for us even. You'll finally be able to focus all your attention on work, right?
My workplace happens to be close to 3 hours away from your parents' home. Did you forget about why we never moved back in with your parents in the past?
We can! We can make something happen there! Anyhow, let's just get back together, and then we can put a lot more thought into everything.
After all the crap you pulled here, you think that we can just get back together like nothing ever happened? How about you marry that woman you've been cheating on me with?
That's still impossible, actually. Her and I aren't really that close to one another yet. Unless I can prove to her that I can get her everything she wants, she probably won't marry me.
So you're wanting to get back together with me so that you can continue to buy her more things? All right, that's a fat no from me.
Don't say things like that. I don't have any more money.
You said this about Elsie, and you've said this about me. Besides money, what else do you see women as? Once I've had a talk with my lawyer about you, I'll send you official documents stating how much you owe. If you have any problems with the amount I'll be asking for, please, by all means, go and complain to my lawyer about it. We're divorced now, and I don't have it in me to deal with filthy trash like you.
Please, Oakley. Please help me out here. Please get back together with me. Oakley?
After that, I was able to get a massive settlement from Cameron, and things ended just the way I had wanted them to. In his fear of losing the girlfriend he'd worked so hard to get without having the money to, Cameron still kept his promise to her to take her to Hawaii, and went into some insane debt doing so. Even now, he's continuing to make his debt worse and worse, all so that he can stay with her. And recently, he's been getting into arguments with his own mother about whether they should sell the house or not so that he can pay off some of that debt. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.